Trump wins, will you accept the results?
Of course.
If Kamala wins, will you accept the results?
No. No, because it won't be possible. It'll be an absolute canard. Nobody's really voting
Yeah,
for
but you gotta, when you listen to yourself say that, that's gotta be a red flag, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. Listen to what the Democrats say.
So say it again. If Donald Trump wins this election, will you accept the results?
Yes.
If Kamala Harris wins this election, will you accept the results?
No.
I mean, you gotta hear what that sounds like, right?
I don't care what it sounds like.
How does this guy not see this as a red flag?
Whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it? You get indicted and your poll numbers go up. When people get indicted, your poll numbers go down.
Does he think that this is a normal response for trying to interfere with an election? Oh, and it gets worse.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
And when asked to clarify these comments, this is what he said.
This time, vote. I'll straighten out the country. You won't have to vote anymore. I won't need your vote. You can go back
So
to
you meant you don't have to vote for you because you have 4 years in office.
Look. Christians are known. You know who else doesn't vote? Gun owners don't vote.
They're already planning on taking over no matter what. I mean, this is the leader of the Project 2025, essentially confirming this.
We are winning. There are a lot of victories that have been secured. Some of them are partial. Some of them in ways that the other side doesn't yet know are foundations for what's coming. And that's just the beginning. And we're not going to tell you everything that's coming. Because for the first time that I'm aware of, the conservative movement, or as I really like to put it, the common sense movement in the United States has really nothing to do with ideology, is ready to fight.
Apparently his supporters are on board with this as well.
Would you rather have 4 years of Donald Trump as a dictator or 4 years of Joe Biden as a president?
4 years of Trump as a dictator.
How come?
From all that I saw him do, I like everything he does.
So I've been to Trump rallies, and the slogan that they use is "too big to rig," right? Like and they use that. Great slogan. I mean, fantastic slogan. I mean, if the system actually was, not the system, if the voting system was rigged and they could, steal elections, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, too big to rig. So, I mean, that is how they're getting them to vote. Okay? That is, because obviously, they can't just say, hey, it's all going to be rigged. Don't bother anyway, right? And so they say too big to rig. And that takes care of that. It says, enough of us have to show up to make up for, all the dead votes and and, forget the fact that there's literally none of this has been proven. There's been maybe 5 people nationwide and all that. And this is an old plan. This is an old game. They've been using this to tighten voter ID restrictions, voter ID, because some areas of the United States, we have voting districts that are very tiny, and we have people that are poor, they don't have ID, and having them pay $50 for an ID that's like a poll tax. And they've been doing this for a while.
It's the basis of who we are as a nation, and we owe that to the American people. And so what we're going to do is introduce legislation to require that every single person who registers to vote in a federal election must prove that they're an American citizen first. You have to prove it. That will be a new part of the federal law, and a very important one.
They want to get those numbers. They know, they've said it. They've been on record. We have videos of them saying the quiet part out loud before the 2020 election. It just wasn't being done as bold. Donald Trump was the first person to actually just come right out and just bold face, right? This is the reason why when you see a campaign from a 501c3, and it's a get out the vote, and everyone needs to vote, and they don't tell you for who, because it's a 501c3 legally, blah, blah, blah. They can't go into that. But it's always liberal, progressive organization that's telling you to do this. That's really not like a conservative thing. That's, it's like they want to, take it back, 19th Amendment. And there's a lot on the line here. Trump can't lose this election. He absolutely cannot. His entire legal strategy was delaying all of these trials and pushing them out past the election. So his Truth Social had that company. The only way that becomes worth anything is if he's elected president. That is like, remember, we all know that literally all of Wall Street, no matter where they stood politically, everyone said this is a terrible stock to invest in. It's like a meme stock. It only has value because people like Trump. It is more of a meme stock than GameStop and AMC at this point, because it actually has no user base, makes no money. It's just an amazing grift, by the way. Hats off. But none of these things, that's not worth money. His real estate deals, he's going to jail. If he loses the election, he can't lose the election. That's the point. And so this is all on the line for him. I don't think he's going to concede. It's going to be harder for him to not concede this time, though, given, that he's not in the White House, right? I do think that he will definitely get some people wherever he can in Pennsylvania and any swing states to, do the things. And whereas, last time he was the one being the driver, this time, though, they've had some time to think about it and maybe, and get more of a plan rocking. So, we've already seen them in Texas. Tons of people's votes, they were registered. Now they were stricken from the voter polls. They have to re-register to vote, and so on and so forth. I live in New York State. I have not re-registered to vote. Maybe I changed my address, like my voting district. That's it. I've never had that as a problem, and that shouldn't be a problem. So, obviously it's going to be harder for him to pull off a January 6th style thing the same way, given that he's not currently in office. But it's going to get real spicy. Election day and right up until the inauguration. Can't wait.